everybody, and welcome back to the GOTALKTO English podcast. Today, your host is the lovely me. Hi, guys. Teacher Emily here, and first of all, I love the winter season. For the United States, that is the months of December, January, and February seasonally, but it's basically that whole entire holiday season. When outside it gets colder, we start celebrating, getting plans together for our families, and there are so many holidays back to back to back. So why am I talking about holidays? Well, today I wanted to share with you some of the United States customs that we do to celebrate our New Year's Eve. So today I have 10 riveting facts for you about the traditional American New Year's, as well as just some fun things that we just do here. So let's get started. So number 1, New Year's Eve falls on December the 31st. Yes, December the 31st, basically up until 11:59 p.m. Just like Christmas, New Year's is one of those holidays that also has an eve. You have to get ready to celebrate. And the majority of the festivities that go on for the New Year's celebration actually happen on New Year's Eve. Now, New Year's, the actual day, falls on January 1st in the United States. Here in the US of A, we follow the Gregorian calendar, which was instilled by Mr. Pope Gregory the 13th. But yes, so our new year begins at the very beginning of the year on January 1st. Fact number 2. So one of the things that we do when we celebrate our new year is champagne. Now, a friendly reminder to everyone out there, if champagne does not come from Champagne, France, it ain't champagne. But yes, that seems to be the popular drink of choice here for many Americans to have their New Year's toast. This is just something to do to celebrate friends, show appreciation and gratefulness. Champagne has been thought of as a little bit of I wouldn't want to call it a luxury item, but it's definitely something that you don't drink, at least you shouldn't, on a normal basis. It's a very light, bubbly, fizzy alcoholic drink, and I think there might be some symbolism to it, whether it's a societal class of being fancy and drinking your fancy champagne, or it's just something that helps make you feel good and elevates your mood to bring in that new year. Now, a lot of our kids, can't drink alcohol. No alcohol for the children. Sorry, guys. But a lot of times, in replacement for this lovely champagne, they will use sparkling juices or ciders, typically grape juice, to kind of let the kids feel included. Everyone's got their drink, everyone's got their glass, and no one's getting drunk, hopefully. All right, fact number 3. The New Year's resolution. It is a tradition to set a goal for the new year to come. Typically, when we ring in the new year, we like to try to move on and better ourselves from how we were before. A lot of the times, the New Year's resolution, or basically a change that you want to bring forward, is something that either you don't like or struggle with. For instance, it's very common to have weight loss for a New Year's resolution. Some people choose to quit smoking or give up alcohol. Other people try to be a better person, be nicer, hold the door open for people. Actually, last year, my New Year's resolution was to go on vacation. Yeah. But the good news is I actually did end up doing the New Year's resolution that I had made. I did go on a vacation and saw my friend get married, my bestest friend. It was very, very lovely. But, with COVID and everything. But that is one of the tricky things about New Year's resolutions. Anybody can make a New Year's resolution, but the hard part is making sure you stick to that resolution by the time the end of the year rolls around. Especially because, It's actually a running joke that a lot of people, especially in that weight loss community, they sign up for gym memberships and they rush in and they start working out, and then January 2nd comes along and there's nobody. It's very, very easy to fall off of your New Year's resolution. It's essentially a promise to yourself, so you're the only person holding yourself accountable. One of the tips that I've often been told about making a New Year's resolution is, why wait until the new year? Go ahead and start your New Year's resolution towards the end of the old year. That way, you're already used to that routine. Oftentimes, it can be a little bit of a struggle to suddenly just wake up one day and say, yes, I'm going to do this. It takes a while for those good habits to form, so giving yourself a little bit more time allows for you to stay motivated and believe in yourself. But enough about the New Year's resolutions. Let's move on to something else. What are we on? Four? I think we're on 4. So, the New Year's tree. Oh, New Year's tree, oh, New Year's tree. Yes, you probably heard of the Christmas tree. It's a very, very big staple of any type of holiday tradition, or mainly the Christmas holiday tradition. But did you know that we also have New Year's trees? In fact, it's not very uncommon for you to travel to the United States sometime in January or after Christmas and see that many Americans still have their Christmas tree up. Now, you can ask a lot of different people, and most of them will chalk this up to laziness. Taking down Christmas trees and decorations, it's too much work, so just leave it up for a little bit longer. It's okay, right? But that is actually something that has definitely evolved throughout our celebrations because of these big, massive trees that we can decorate and do basically anything to. Why not have a New Year's tree? So, of course, the same thing pretty much applies. You get a tree, you get some decorations, and you zhuzh it up for New Year's. And it's just a great way to just celebrate, just an excuse to do things, be festive, and be merry. Our 5th fact of the day is the New Year's meal. Now, some places in America, the United States, refer to this as Hoppin' John's. This is a traditional Southern meal that is eaten on New Year's Day to help bring prosperity, good luck, fortune, and just overall goodness to the person who eats it. Now, this specific meal is made up of a few Southern staple food items, such as black-eyed peas. The black-eyed peas are used to symbolize coins. Then we have collard greens. Collard greens, with their leafy greenness, are actually used to represent our money, our nice green paperbacks. Then we have ham, or your choice of any type of pork cut. This is to bring prosperity, to bring growth and just good fortune and happiness to you and your family. And then finally, we eat all of that with cornbread, which if you've ever seen cornbread, it is this lovely golden bread. It's a little dense and great for dipping in sauces or things, and some people even eat it as a dessert. But cornbread, beautifully representing that gold, again, that wealth, abundance, and prosperity. I'm sensing a theme here with Americans and money, are you? But yes, that is the traditional American New Year's Day meal. Now, depending on where you live, you might be raising an eyebrow or scratching your head at some of those things. And trust me, even as an American, I don't like probably half the things on that list, or at least they have to be drenched in something. But it isn't out of the ordinary to eat it just to bring the good luck, you know? All right, so moving on to fact number 6 about New Year's. So one of the biggest things that you'll probably ever see related to the United States and New Year's is the Times Square ball drop. If you don't know what it is, quick, pause the video, jump over to Google, and just type it in real quick. The Times Square, first of all, is a lovely, gigantic retail plaza, I will call it. It's a wonderful plaza, or as we call it, a square, which is just basically a chunk of street section that is dedicated to shopping, pedestrians, things like that. But Times Square is massive. It's probably, I have no idea, but it's massive. There's TVs, signs, stores, everything. Well, come time for the New Year's Eve celebration, in Times Square, there is a gigantic ball of lights, and this is what we refer to as the ball drop. At the beginning of the night on New Year's Eve, the ball starts at the tippy top of the building, and then slowly throughout the night, it descends. It starts to slowly drop and drop and drop. Well, finally, when it comes down to the final seconds left of the end of the year, that New Year's Eve, we begin the countdown. 10, 9, 8, and it goes on, and everybody, it's always on everyone's TV. Everyone at home is tuning into the ball drop. It's probably one of the mass televised events. Well, I wonder, do you see the ball drop in your country? Because it's everywhere all over the place here in the United States. So 3, 2, 1, and then the ball drops. The fireworks explode, and yes, it is not a United States New Year's without fireworks. And everybody celebrates. They make lots of noise, especially with noisemakers. Noisemakers are these little flutes and horns. I wish I had some. But basically, you blow in them and they go, bah, bah, bah. Very, very small. Not as big as a vuvuzela, but just as annoying. But yes, and so that is the Times Square ball drop. And very interesting, it probably has what I would assume is one of the biggest cleanup committees, because there's confetti and streamers and tinsel and glitter everywhere. And so they have to go in and clean it up that night so it can be all pretty for everyone to come back and do their normal thing for the new year. I have lost count. I think we're on 6. Let me do a quick count real quick. Okay, let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Yes. All right. So number 6. Going back. Number 6. So there is something called watch nights. They're actually very, very popular, more commonly found throughout traditional African American traditions. Basically, these watch nights were for praying. This was a religious ceremony where people would go to church and they would pray out the old year and pray in the new year. And as a matter of fact, this wasn't the only contribution from the religious groups to our New Year's holiday. Many churches, especially those leaning more towards Catholic churches, will actually hold masses on New Year's Eve as opposed to New Year's Day, because a lot of them know that, well, the Americans, they're going to go out and party the night before, so let's make sure they're able to show up. Or a lot of times during that Sunday of, what's it called? The first Sunday, they will have, or the Sunday after New Year's, whenever. My calendar's messed up, my internal calendar. I blame coronavirus. But anyway, a lot of times they will offer an evening service because, well, everyone's going to sleep in. No one's going to come to the morning service. They're all in bed. So I thought that was definitely really fun. Definitely something interesting that everyone, in a little way, kind of prepares for New Year's, the New Year's celebration, and dealing with the people and how they are going to choose to celebrate on New Year's Day. Moving on to number 7, Baby New Year. Yes, so in the United States, and this actually might be something that your country does as well, we celebrate the first baby born in the year. Actually, we celebrate it so much that the family and the child of the first New Year will receive gifts and lots of media coverage. They'll be on the news and lots of big celebrations to have the first baby born of the year. And Baby New Year isn't just limited to an actual baby. He's actually a character. So when the first baby is born, that's when you get Baby New Year. And Baby New Year is typically this little blonde baby who wears a sash and a diaper. And that sash usually has the year that he is born on, the new year. Well, Baby New Year isn't actually a newborn, which is very, very strange. Baby New Year can usually crawl or walk, so he's probably about 6 months old, maybe. Moms, help me out here. So yes, so first of all, Baby New Year is probably a very suspicious baby on that fact alone. But throughout the year as it unfolds, Baby New Year grows up. And then by the time we reach the end of the year, or on New Year's Eve, Baby New Year has turned into an old man. A lot of times he's referred to as Father Time. And Father Time's job is to, well, take off his sash and give it to a new Baby New Year. Now, this is just the character. We don't expect a newborn baby to age up within a year to hand off the sash to the next baby next year. That'd be a little ridiculous. But yes, that is the story behind Baby New Year. Number 8. Sorry, Luna's barking in the background. All right, so number 8, we have the New Year's kiss. So, what is the New Year's kiss? It's a very, very popular tradition, especially today in modern America. For good luck in the field of love and relationships and overall just avoiding loneliness, it is recommended that you find someone to kiss either during the ball drop or the countdown, or basically at midnight, whenever that time change is happening. Whenever the new year comes in, you have to find someone to kiss. Why? Why is this? Why do we do this? Well, traditionally, it actually stems back from trying to ward off evil spirits and overall negative energies. It was believed that if you were able to find somebody, whether it was a friend or a lover or even a stranger, to kiss on New Year's Day at the midnight hour, it would help to protect you from loneliness or having a lonely year. Many couples have evolved this tradition as a way to fortify their relationship. If you kiss your significant other on New Year's Day at midnight, that is supposed to help protect the relationship and make it strong for another year. So this is definitely a superstition that many girls especially love. It's very, very fun. Just one thing though, if you are planning on kissing somebody for New Year's Eve, or midnight specifically, that midnight kiss, just make sure that you ask for permission, or as we call it, consent. It's definitely probably will not end well if you kiss somebody without asking if it's okay. All right, so for our 9th tip and fact, okay, parents, is it clear? Okay, wait. So here's what you're gonna do. First, make sure your kids are not in the room. This is top secret. Parents only, okay? If you're under the age of 16, well, I mean, that's a kid. But anyway, if you're under the age of 16, do not watch. Stop watching. This is strictly for the adults. Okay, so before you think I'm about to say anything bad, I promise I'm not. So actually, a small tradition, well, it's actually become popular more recently, but for now, we'll say it's a tradition. So one thing that these sneaky parents tend to do is everyone knows the highlight of New Year's Eve is staying up till midnight to watch the ball drop and to do the countdown, and especially to be able to scream Happy New Year as soon as that clock hits midnight. But when it comes to our little ones, our younger brothers and sisters, our daughters, sons, nieces and nephews, basically children who need to stay to a very strict sleeping schedule, this can be challenging. A lot of times kids will find themselves fighting sleep to do the very adult act of staying up at midnight. So our parents have gotten very creative and very smart with how to tackle this dilemma. So here's what you're going to do. If you are planning on having a New Year's party and you have kids around and, well, you don't want them staying up till midnight or overall just kind of stumbling in on the festivities, you're going to go into your house and you're going to set all of your clocks back. That's right. If you think that's evil, well, it might be. So a very, very good tip and trick is if you want your kids to celebrate that celebration, if you want to trick them into thinking they're part of the New Year's festivities. A lot of parents will put on the old ball drop video, either from YouTube or their phone, and make their kids think that, yes, they're staying up till midnight, they're watching the ball drop, when in reality it's actually 9:30. Which I thought was probably amazing. I don't have any kids right now, but I think I will definitely do that because they're not gonna know. They're not gonna know. So yes, you can actually trick your children, if you are dedicated enough, into celebrating New Year's Day before it actually happens, for the sake of your sanity and party time. You heard it here first, and you can thank me later. So, finally, number 10. We made it. Oh my gosh, I lost count about 5 different times, but we finally made it. So, there is a traditional New Year's song that is sang throughout the United States whenever the midnight approaches, New Year's comes, and it is called Auld Lang Syne. Auld Lang Syne is one of those songs that every American knows, but at the same time, they don't. You can hear Auld Lang Syne playing somewhere in the background, like, ah, yes, it's that New Year's Eve song. It's that New Year's song. But chances are you probably won't find a person on the street who can belt out the lyrics for you just off the top of their head. One of the reasons for this is that Auld Lang Syne isn't completely entirely in English or modern English. Auld Lang Syne is actually an Irish song. And if you look at the lyrics or listen to any of the original versions of the song, you'll actually be able to hear that thick Auld Lang Syne, which I can't do it. But you'll actually be able to hear that accent. And many of the words, sometimes they're modernized and changed to the Americanized version of old, which is old. But I personally, my favorite version is the original version. But yes, Auld Lang Syne is a lovely ballad that talks about being grateful and living in the moment, honestly, is, talking about the old times. Auld Lang Syne, I believe it loosely translate into the old long times, basically long ago. But yes, so if you watched my Christmas tree decorating video, there was lots of singing in that video, lots of goofing off. But today, in the spirit of having a slightly more serious topic, decided I would, again, do some more singing, and this time will try not to do it so badly. So I don't want to bore you to death, so we're not going to sing the whole 5-minute song, but I will sing to you one of the first verses. So here we have the famous American song, or English song, I should say. Sorry, egotistical American here. The famous English song of Auld Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of Auld Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for days of Auld Lang Syne. Thank you so much for joining me today and talking about my heritage and customs when it comes to the American New Year's Eve and New Year's Day traditions. I hope to see you on our social media. Leave lots of comments and let your presence be known. We love talking to you guys. Feel free and like us and subscribe to us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And if you are interested in studying the English language, whether you want to become fluent or you would like to know more about the customs, or maybe you just need someone to practice with, or Maybe you're part of the Teacher Emily fan club. Pretty great, pretty awesome. Just kidding. But please visit us at gotalkto.com, where you can find me as well as a bevy of wonderful, talented, intelligent teachers from across the world who know different languages, unlike me, who only speaks English. I have been Teacher Emily, and thank you so much. This has been your Go Talk to English podcast. Bye!